Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing okay. I'm gonna read through this full article. There's a link in the description. I'll start off with a trigger warning. This involves sexual abuse of children. And the key aspect to this case is not only the actual sexual abuse, but it's the incredibly light sentencing from the judge. We're going to read through the full details, but the sentencing is absolutely crazy. This happened in Victoria, Australia. So we'll read through. A serial sex offender who was warned by police not to have sex with a child will spend a minimum of just 9 months behind bars for raping a teenager. Harry Smith, 20 years of age, this piece of scum, of Yarram in Victoria's East, pleaded guilty to 2 counts of sexually penetrating a child under 16, assaulting an emergency worker, and resisting an emergency worker. He was sentenced last year to serve 18 months in jail, which, with time already served, will see the child sex fiend back on the streets within months. His case was brought before the Supreme Court of Victoria last week after prosecutors appealed the sentence on the grounds it was manifestly inadequate. The Crown also argued County Court of Victoria Judge John Smallwood made a serious error when he described Smith's victim as being a willing participant. The court had heard that Smith, the scumbag in question, who was 5 years older than his victim, had known the teenager. She had agreed to meet him in Sale, which is a suburb in Victoria's East, before the predator took her to a nearby oval, a park, and repeatedly violated her. Upon justifying his sentence in August, Judge Smallwood shocked prosecutors. Here's a quote from the judge. "In these circumstances, as I am about to describe, the offending itself would appear to have been, on what is before me at least, a willing participant. But I am very aware that consent does not assist in mitigation." That's a quote from the judge. Smith, the scumbag, had already been told by the teenager's worried mother to keep away from her. Police had also paid the scumbag a visit and again warned him to keep away from the vulnerable teen. Finally, the Victorian government itself, the actual fucking government, contacted the scumbag in question in writing, warning him it was an offence to counsel, induce, or assist a child to be absent from their residence. I mean, I'm just going to interject. Isn't this crazy that the mother, the family, the parents, knew that this was an issue and they did what they could to warn the scumbag to not harm the child? The police also knew the risks, and they also warned the scumbag. And even the actual fucking government got involved in writing, warning the scumbag, and all to no avail. Back to the article. Judge Smallwood was told that the scumbag had a prior conviction for rape, which saw him rape a 10-year-old girl at a playground when he was age 16. The scumbag who punched a police officer, as far as I understand, is not written very well. The scumbag who punched a police officer when they came to arrest him remained unrepentant over his oval antics with the teenager. So this is what the scumbag said when he was being arrested. Here's a quote from the scumbag. You know what I'm pissed off about is how little girls can go out, fuck older guys, and they get off scot-free, and us fuckers have to fucking deal with it. He moaned. What a fucking insane scumbag. What is going on with his brain? Not a lot. His brain is twisted and scrambled. Back to the article. The court heard Judge Smallwood was determined to send Smith back to youth detention, but they would not have him. Youth detention wouldn't accept him back, if I understand. Smith had endured a rotten childhood, which saw him put into foster care and later suffer from depressive anxiety disorder, ADHD, an attachment disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and a generalized anxiety disorder. Forgive me, boo fucking who. Judge Smallwood, this guy, this incompetent guy, I'm going to say, begrudgingly sent him to an adult jail, albeit for a paltry 18 months at its highest. On Friday, the Supreme Court of Victoria Court of Appeal agreed that Judge Smallwood is a complete fucking idiot. Hang on. The Court of Appeal agreed that Judge Smallwood's decision had been the right one. That's fucking ridiculous, man. Here's a quote. In my view, the sentencing judge took into account everything that he was obliged to take into account, and it was open to him to impose a sentence that he did, even though it's a remarkably low sentence. Yeah, it is remarkably low and sickeningly low. An 18-month sentence for raping a child. He's previously raped a 10-year-old. Back to the article. In handing down its decision, the appeal court heard, in addition to Smith's history of serious sexual offending, he has pronounced developmental and psychosexual deficiencies. Here's a quote. The factors that make him unsuitable for incarceration in an adult prison are also factors that give rise to the need for community protection. The respondent presents as a risk to other people, especially young women and girls. However, it is highly questionable whether that risk is best managed by a long term of imprisonment. I mean, I don't get. Okay, there's the article. There's a link in the description. This guy, scumbag of the year. He's in contention already. He seemingly, he's raped a girl under the age of 16. Prior to that, he's raped a 10-year-old girl. And not only did the judge give him an 18-month jail sentence, but seemingly they've been reluctant to put him in an adult prison. But as far as I understand, he is in an adult prison only because the youth detention refused to accept him. Good for them. And it was reviewed by the Supreme Court of Victoria Court of Appeal. They thought, hang on, 18 months for raping a girl? That seems a little bit extraordinarily and sickeningly low. So they reviewed it and they go, oh yeah, all right, fair enough, 18 months it is then. They agree with the judge. That's fucking nuts. What's going on? Why is this guy getting such a free pass? Is it because he's able to claim he has such and such psychological disorders, ADHD, PTSD, anxiety disorder? Is that the reasoning? I mean, this guy, if it were up to me, I'd be thinking death penalty. Frankly, I'd be thinking death penalty. He raped a 10-year-old girl on a previous charge. We're not told in this article what he was charged with, what he was sentenced to. Seemingly not enough. So there's this disgusting article there. We just hope his victims are able to overcome the trauma that he subjected them to.